Hello everyone, today we're going to present Embracing Literature About Exceptional Learners by Pamela, Randy, and Lola.
So how many students are actually served by the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act? In 2013, an annual report was taken on IDEA, and it was found that under the Act, approximately 6.5 million, or roughly 13% of all U.S. students, were being served under IDEA. With this in mind, as educators, we know that it is important for all students to be able to relate and feel represented in their learning material, and more specifically for this presentation, the literature or reading material they are exposed to in class. Considering that students with some form of disability make up more than 10% of our schools, it becomes important to consider how they feel represented by their learning material, especially with the idea that all students must feel important and comfortable in the classroom. As a group, we felt that students with disabilities are underrepresented in classroom learning and reading materials.
How can we holistically target our exceptional learners' needs? Through critical pedagogy, we can provide students with powerful tools to raise their awareness in disrupting the mainstream belief system for equitable education that is designed for all. Holistic education takes students' emotions to be crucial components on pedagogy. Therefore, empathy can be developed through understanding of the multiplicities that every individual has, including those who experience a disability and those who do not. As Irwin and Muller stated, students need to see themselves and others in society represented accurately in learning materials. Therefore, it is through authentic readings that societal misconceptions can be demystified.
In the past, and even currently in some cases, when people with disabilities are represented in books or films, they tend to be one of two extremes, good or evil. Characters with disabilities are rarely shown as neutral characters. A second correlation we saw is that characters who tend to have physical disabilities often are depicted as evil characters, insinuating that physical inferiority equals moral inferiority. A study we found looked at over 1,000 films and found that only about 120 of those films included a person or people with a disability. Of these 120 films, about 98 of these characters were depicted as negative or evil people, while only 22 of the 120 films portrayed the character positively. In the media, people with disabilities tend to be either depicted as evil or very good and well-liked characters. I have shown a few characters here representing well-known characters with physical disabilities that coincide with their findings.
As educators, we have the responsibility to expose students regardless of their age to all types of characters with disabilities in literature. Being mindful and carefully selecting the reading materials for students will help us analyze the way disabilities are portrayed within the story, to avoid selecting negative portrayals at all costs. Here are some examples of books out there that have positive portrayals, disrupting the privilege that comes with being able-bodied individuals even through literature. One great example is Stephen Hawking's his story. Stephen Hawking is an outstanding physicist who was diagnosed with ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, at age of 21. This didn't stop him from completing a PhD on black hole physics, publishing books such as A Brief History of Time, and guest starring on different TV shows such as The Big Bang Theory. He is said to be one of the most popular physicists since Einstein and one of the greatest scientific minds of all time. I believe the mention before falls short on the great inspiration he has served to many individuals with disabilities and non-disabilities. Not If I See You First by Eric Lindstrom is a book that depicts the life from the standpoint from a girl who was born blind. The rules. Don't deceive me, ever, especially using my blindness, especially in public. Don't help me unless I ask, otherwise you're just getting in my way or bothering me. Don't be weird, seriously, other than having my eyes closed all the time, I'm just like you, only smarter. Don't treat her any differently just because she's blind. We analyzed this book and wanted to share a portion of the book with you guys in case you haven't read it. More books like this should be published. Not only the author demystifies misconceptions that comes from growing up with little knowledge on what it's like to be labeled as disabled, but it fights back such as by presenting what we learned from our previous chapters reading. No individual with disabilities is not worthy of an equitable education and happy life. Exceptional learners should be seen and perceived for what they can do, not for what they can't do. This includes providing them with needed resources to succeed in life, such as including them in the curriculum. A positive message can be taken from this book, which exposes readers who have a disability and those who do not have one to learn more about individuals with exceptional abilities.
Literature has the unique ability to build empathy and nurture social acceptance by allowing students to imagine themselves in the shoes of the character in the story. A teacher can transform their classroom by shifting to an inclusive mindset, helping students develop deep and meaningful relationships with diverse students. All students will develop deeper relationships with others, become empathic and appreciative of diversity, and will become agents of social change in their communities.
Here are reference.
Thanks, guys. That's it.
Thanks.